AT&T and Verizon have rejected a request from the U.S. government to delay 5G wireless plans, which you can kind of understand because for the last, has it been 3, 4, that we have just been punched in the face every time you turn around with 5G. 5G, you got to have 5G. It's a 5G. Where's your 5G? All right, I've got a 5G phone. I got to tell you, I really haven't noticed that wild a difference.
I think I have a 5G phone. I'm not sure.
Every once in a while, it'll pop up and tell me I'm getting 5G, and then I'll run a quick test. I'll go to YouTube, and I'll see if it downloads fast.
Yeah.
It works fine.
Okay.
But I haven't noticed it being life-changing. But on the consumer level, it isn't supposed to be.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
5G is more of a thing that everything that runs on it, you'll notice differences.
Gotcha.
Well, Verizon and AT&T have rejected a request by the government to delay the rollout of next-gen wireless technology. A joint letter Sunday from the telecommunications giants to U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg and Steve Dixon, head of the Federal Aviation Administration, sought to dismiss concerns that have been brought by U.S. airlines that a new 5G wireless service could hurt aviation.
Okay. Oh, this isn't about 5G towers giving out COVID?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No. I think we're done with that. I think they're done
that's
burning the
over.
towers, saying that they're promoting COVID. I'm sure there's still a group of idiots out there who are, planning their next move.
I love that one.
Hans Vestberg, CEO of Verizon, John Stankey, CEO of AT&T, wrote that they were willing to accept some temporary measures over the next 6 months to limit the service around certain airport runways.
Okay.
Airlines had reached out to the FCC, Federal Communications Commission, to delay this week's scheduled 5G rollout, saying the service, set to launch Wednesday, that's tomorrow, could interfere with electronics that pilots rely on. All right, part of me is like, okay, we're rolling this out Wednesday. Sunday, you send the note.
Yeah, really.
What, you're just hearing about this now?
Just figured it out. And so they want them to pause the rollout?
That's the plan.
Okay,
Airlines,
not cut back, not turn some towers off.
No, I don't think it's turn them off. Airlines for America is a trade group for large U.S. passenger and cargo carriers, said in an emergency filing with the FCC that the FCC has failed to adequately consider the harm that 5G service could. Group wants more time for the FCC and the FAA, which regulate airlines, to resolve issues around aviation safety. Those are related to a type of 5G service that relies on chunks of radio spectrum called C-band.
Okay.
That's which wireless carriers spent billions of dollars to buy up last year.
Okay.
Siding in part with the airlines, Buttigieg and Dixon wrote on Friday to the CEOs of AT&T and Verizon to propose a delay in activating 5G C-band service near an undetermined number of what they call priority airports, while the FAA would study the potential for interference with aircraft operations. This seems like something we should have been doing.
Priority airports. That's interesting, too.
Yeah.
Nothing near Chicago.
Right.
Tulsa, go for it.
Whatever.
Who cares what happens in Tulsa?
AT&T and Verizon previously agreed to a 1-month delay in 5G, which provides faster speeds when mobile devices connect to their networks and allows users to connect many devices to the internet without slowing it down. But the telecommunications executive said Sunday further delays requested by the government would hurt their customers. Quote, agreeing to your proposal would not only be an unprecedented and unwarranted circumvention of the due process and checks and balances carefully crafted in the structure of our democracy, but an irresponsible abdication of the operating control required to deploy world-class and globally competitive communications networks that are every bit as essential to our country's economic vitality, safety, and national interests as airlines are.
Wow, that's a real middle finger right back at you.
Isn't it, though?
It is. You think you're important.
You think you're important? We're a hell of a lot more important than you are.
Yeah, you're just flying people around.
Right.
We're keeping people alive.
Yep.
We're moving the data.
So, I don't know what this means overall. I hate to think that come Wednesday, we're going to roll things out in spite of being asked, can you hold off on things a little bit? And then disaster strikes.
Would like a little bit more information about how it's affecting planes?
Right. Or will it affect?
Will it actually...
the avionics? for the longest time, please turn off all of your, put it in airplane mode.
is that
Turn
what
this
we're talking
off.
about?
Yeah, and I kept thinking to myself, really? You're counting on the general public to go ahead and click that off because otherwise the plane will crash.
Yeah, and really, my cell phone's going to crash this plane? But I never got that either. I need more from the government say, or no, I need more from the government saying this is what's happening. Is it just the pilots can't talk back to the tower? Or does it interfere their communication with the staff in the back? Or
is this just we haven't really explored what it'll do to the avionics. We just got so kind of fired up about rolling it out. We didn't run all of our testing. That doesn't seem plausible.
No, it doesn't.
It would have seemed that there were some I's to dot and some T's to cross before everything got the green light.
Yes.
And like I said, this isn't the first time that we're discussing 5G. Oh, yeah, this topic just started to come up around the holidays. No, we've been hit over the head for the past 3 to 5 years about this.
And I don't know. I'm sure it inhabits different bandwidths. But is this a problem at all with 4G? If it gets too close to the plane? Or, what do we do?
Well, and you can remember being on a plane when it was 3G and 2G and being told, turn that thing off.
Yeah.
And I can remember being on a plane where the pilot happened to be trotting through and just to say hi to everybody, and a guy stopping him very politely. It was a nice conversation. But the guy wanted the pilot to explain to him, what the hell's the deal with having to turn off my iPod, my iPad, my phone? Can I bring the plane down by what I'm doing? And the pilot basically said, no, you can't. You can't. There could be some interference that could give us pause, I believe was his quote.
Okay.
But no, you're not going to bring the plane down. But at the same time, we don't want to tell you, oh, don't worry about it, because then you won't listen to any instructions whatsoever.
Exactly.
If we tell you it's really, your chances of doing any harm are really, really minimal, then everyone will stop listening to it.
Do they still have you do it?
I haven't been on an airplane I don't remember the last time.
Going out to Arizona, maybe?
No, we drove out.
Oh, you drove?
Yeah.
No.
Probably spring
training?
It's been like 4 years.
Yeah,
something along those lines since I've hopped on a plane. So, I don't know. I remember, go to airplane mode, turn this off, turn that off.
I think they're okay with you turning it back on once they got you cruising altitude.
Yeah, I think there was something along those lines. But you can buy their Wi-Fi.
That's what it was. Which I've never done. I've heard it's spotty at best and very expensive.
Yeah, I haven't done it either because I'm fine sitting on a plane with a book in my hand and not really sweating it for the 2 to 4 hours that I'm there. Now, if I'm doing a 16-hour flight, chances are I might look into it.
Yeah, as much as it pains me, I can't stay off Twitter for 5 hours on a plane.
You can't.
I can. No, I can't.
Oh, you can.
I can.
Yeah. Put something to read in front of me or throw a movie up or something. I'll make it through.
Have some cocktails. We'll be all right. There we go.
That's generally, since I'm not a good flyer anyway, there's normally a supplement I take when I get onto a plane. So generally, I just sort of close my eyes and wait to land.
It's going to be over in a little bit.
Right. So I won't be the guy causing the plane problem with avionics and my phone.
No.
But anyway, that's the latest. AT&T and Verizon have rejected a government request to delay 5G plans. The rollout will continue to launch on Wednesday.
That's so great.
So we'll see what happens.
Hey, can you guys not do it?
No. And by the way, we're going to flip you off.
Yeah,
no.
We're going to demean you in the process.
We're going to point out we're more important than you are and shut up. Okay, fine. So we were just talking about this 5G, government asking AT&T and Verizon to hold off on it for a second. AT&T and Verizon giving them the bird. We're not going to. We were curious about how all of this affects the aviation industry. Well, we just got a quick message on the WROK app, which you guys should download. And it was, hey, I can shed light. I'm an airline pilot.
Yes. And he called in and said, Jared, when we have you on the air. So, Jared, airline pilot, how you doing?
How you doing this morning?
Hey, pretty good. How you guys?
We're doing fine. What can you enlighten us to on all of this?
Okay. Well, the major concern with 5G and airplanes is actually not going to be from the cell phones. It's going to be from the towers that are placed near the airports. And the concern is that the C-band that they're going to use is going to interfere with our radio altimeters, which are very useful when the weather is bad and we're trying to get into an airport. Because if we can't shoot a normal approach where, minimums would be 200 feet off the ground, where we have to make our decision whether we're going to continue to land or go around, missed approach. We can sometimes do a Cat 2 or even a Cat 3 landing, where we are entirely reliant on hearing our altitude call-outs from the radio altimeters that are shooting radar down at the ground and telling us the exact height off the ground. Because when you're at 100 feet and you have to make that decision whether you're going to continue or go around, and you're descending as quickly as we are, you need to know exactly where you're at above the ground. Or if you're doing a Cat 3 landing, the airplane actually performs actions all on its own based on that radio altimeter. So if the 5G antennas are going to throw off our radio altimeters, when there's a bad snowstorm, you can forget people trying to land. We're going to be diverting, because if I don't have a reliable altitude readout, I'm not going to bring the airplane in. Legally, you can't. So that's what the big concern is.
So this isn't about communication with towers or within the plane. This is actual interfering with airplane equipment.
Basically, yes. The radar altimeter, we got these two little sensors. It shoots the signal down out the bottom of the aircraft, and then it bounces right back up. And the 5G signal can potentially interfere with that and then give us erroneous altitude readouts when we're coming into land.
So the request that the government made for Verizon and AT&T to hold off on this Wednesday rollout of the type of 5G that's on C-band and all that, this is a big deal then, isn't it?
It could be, because if they have towers near any of the major airports, especially any of the major hubs where there's, especially a lot of connecting flights, the disruption that could happen, some potential bad weather coming up. Well, usually we can try and get into some of these airports for our passengers. Sometimes, a good quarter of the airplane has connections to catch. And if an airplane cannot come into O'Hare, if it can't get into Denver or Dallas or Minneapolis, Detroit, and let all those passengers reach their connections, there's going to be some massive disruptions to air travel.
So you have said a couple times, could, it might. So we don't know yet if this C-band interference is as detrimental as we think it might be. How long will it take to determine that? I may be asking you questions you don't know, but what's your insight?
Well, I'm saying could, because we would have to have the bad weather where we are reliant on Cat 2 or Cat 3 landings. If it's good weather, I'll just do a visual approach and do it with my eyeball. If you could do a Cat 1 approach where you can come down to 200 feet and just rely off the barometric altimeter, which is not nearly as exact as the radar altimeters are. So that's one of the reasons for the could. And then the other reason is, you nailed it, is I'm not technically savvy enough to understand exactly all the radio waves.
WROK weather.
It seems a little odd, too, that, we hadn't done some focused testing on this one, so this wouldn't be a giant question mark going into the day they're going to roll it out.
Well, yes, you're right. I do know that ALPA, that major union that covers a lot of the airlines, they're strongly against it, because anything that has to do with safety that could adversely affect safety, they are first and foremost against it. And I believe there's been a few airline CEOs that have said that this is not going to be good, because they know or they understand the impact of the disruption it'll have if it does roll out and they have towers near major airports and there's a bad weather event. It's just going to compound how bad it gets.
Wow. Okay. I don't know, Frank. I'm blown away that we're this close to the rollout happening. That a letter then goes out going, "Hey, can you guys put the brakes on this one for a second?" And then them coming back going, "No, we are not going to put the brakes on this for a second." I would imagine, being that we're at the time of year, Jared, where there's bad weather everywhere, we should figure it out in fairly short order how much interference we're getting, right?
I would agree 100%.
Okay. All right. Seems like it's just like a tough experiment to do on the fly.
Right.
No pun intended.
Yeah. While someone's sitting in a plane, and somebody, oh, by the way, you're the guinea pig on this one. We're just going to see what happens. You guys cool with that? We'll get you a free drink for this.
Might work, might not. Who knows?
Jared, thank you for taking time out of your day. Thanks for the expertise, man. We love it when someone who knows their stuff weighs in and gets us straightened out on things.
Hey, anytime. It was great to chat with you guys.
Good to chat with
Have
you
a great
too,
morning.
Ben. Thank you very much. You as well. So there's the deal. If you're just joining us, AT&T and Verizon had rejected a request from the Department of Transportation and the Federal Communications Commission to hold off this rollout of 5G, especially this 5G service that relies on chunks of radio spectrum called C-band, which these carriers dumped billions of dollars into buying up last year.
Yes, it did.
You know, a lot of times when you have a question about something, as I've always said, follow the money.
I mean, I don't know if funny is the right word, but it will be interesting if, they invested billions of dollars into this band and it turns out to be ostensibly unusable.
Right. Or it can't be used anywhere near any major transportation center.
Yeah, Chicago, you're just not getting 5G.
Yeah, you're not going to do it. Wherever we've got airports packed around and all that, it's just not going to happen. So you major metropolitan areas and all that. Another reason to hate the people in the sticks.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for 6G.
Yeah, the guy who's sitting out there in the middle of 500 acres of farm field with a 5G tower is everything's gonna be working fine for him. But you metropolitan dwellers are gonna be going, wait, well, what about us?
Yeah, that'll help the divide, I'm sure.
But let's hope this is one of those. Hey, we discover we are having problems. Everybody landed safely. Everything's good. Now we're going to put it on hold for a second until we work this out.
Interesting.
But it just seems like
we should have figured this out before.
Wouldn't we have been testing this rather than the week that the rollout is going to happen?
Yes, and I don't know who to yell at for that.
I don't know either.
Is it on the shoulders of Verizon and T-Mobile to make sure that they're not interfering with planes, or if you're in the plane business and you should know about bandwidths and maybe this might mess us up. Should we look into this?
Well,
3 years ago.
But those guys spent billions of dollars. I don't think they're going to want to hear it. What are they going to want to hear? A plane goes down?
They're going to be real mad at us, guys.
Well, and that's the other thing. We have an aviation accident of some sort.
Yeah.
Especially you think you got a PR problem now. Imagine the PR problem that comes down to where, hey, man, we asked you guys not to. You said, hey, sod off. We're going to go ahead and do this anyway. And now we have dead people.
You're crashing planes. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
We're, I often say, we're from the media. We're here to scare you. This is sort of working the scare into itself.
Kind of. We don't need to add anything now.
Because the headline is innocuous enough. They reject U.S. request to delay 5G plans.
Yes. And the rejection wasn't quelling the fears of this. What we just learned about was the instrument panel. No, the rejection was, you can't tell us what to do. Right. We're more important, and you figure it out after we put it up.
Once again, for those who didn't hear it, this is the response that AT&T and Verizon jointly sent back to the government, who said, hey, can you hold off on the rollout? Quote, agreeing to your proposal would not only be an unprecedented and unwarranted circumvention of the due process and checks and balances carefully crafted into the structure of our democracy. Just as a side note, I'm so tired of that word being misused. That's not what we are. Okay, that's mob rule.
It is.
That's not what we are. Stop saying that. But anyway, an irresponsible abdication of the operating control required to deploy world-class and globally competitive communications networks that are every bit as essential to our country's economic vitality, public safety, and national interests as the airline industry.
Yeah.
Period.
That's right there. We're more important than you. Like I said, and not addressing the issue that they have.
No. So we'll have to see what happens. And apparently we don't have to wait very long because the scheduled rollout is it's set to launch on Wednesday. Now, for people, when have I already gotten 5G? Different kind of 5G, or it's 5G applied to the C-band, which is that's a different type of service.
It seems to be more of a commercial aspect of 5G.
Yep, and the wireless carrier spent billions of dollars to buy up this big chunks of radio spectrum called C-band, and I really, frankly, don't know what all of that means.
No, me neither.
But it cost a lot of money. And the idea that, delaying it, that shouldn't cost anybody anything, should it?
Nobody's job.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, my wireless phone bill went from $30 a month to $3,000 a month. Apparently, that really did cost them some money to put that on hold. Well, they say they're not going to.
This is an interesting fight.
It is,
I like
and it's one that we'll I'm sure hear a lot more of coming up over the next short period of time.
Oh, we will.